Right here, welcome back. The show begins in earnest, and we begin with the newspaper review. And of course, we have in the studio, as always, communication and leadership strategist Dotun Ojon, and no lesser person than Dr. Austin Nweze of the Pan Atlantic University. Good to see both of you, gentlemen.
Welcome, John.
And I hope you've recovered from the outcome of the Anambra election.
Yes.
All right, let's begin with a punch. Obaze rejects Obiano's victory in Anambra governorship poll. Well, my triumph is for Anambra people, says Governor Willie Obiano. He can comfortably and confidently describe himself as the governor for the next 4 years. Dr. Nweze.
Well, it's as expected, you know, the power of incumbency on one, and then what I like about that, because I was a bit worried, you know, if this man did not return.
What do you think would have been?
You know, it would maybe drag the state. You know, the fact that where Obi stopped, this man continued.
Peter Obi, the former governor.
Yeah, the former governor. And it's good for consistency.
Okay.
Yes. But it doesn't really matter in a more civilized environment, whoever comes to whichever party wins. Consistency can, I mean, continuation could also happen because government is a continuum.
Absolutely.
You know, but in our own environment, once a different party wins, they put the baby and the bathwater away and start all over again as if, you know, you begin to hear, when I came into power, nothing worked.
Exactly.
You know, that kind of
Even slogans change.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. You know, so it's good for Anambra State.
Okay. Dotun,
Okay,
what do you think about
actually, towing that line, but again, apart from the fact that the man has been able to achieve some things, I think majorly there was a political blunder on the part of PDP. You understand, you don't enter an important election like that with a stranger, quote unquote. So, and you know, our leadership style in Nigeria, there are about 3 R's that actually govern our leadership style in Nigeria. And one of the R's is resentment. Once you are coming to power because of resentment, or somebody is actually fronting for you because he wants to get back at somebody, there will always be an issue
formula,
like that, you understand? So,
Okay, one more story. Should we just take it out of Nigeria? Defiant Mugabe says he will preside over party congress in December.
In December.
What is giving this man so much confidence, really?
Well, it's Zimbabwe's Mugabe. Mugabe is Zimbabwe.
I said that much not too long ago. I am Zimbabwe and
Zimbabwe is me.
You know, I haven't been in the trenches. I haven't become the first president, and he can.
And the only president.
The only president so far.
The country has known.
Yeah.
Yes, and he still has his own followership. Those who are benefiting, you know, they're just being Machiavellian. You know, those that benefit from the status quo will find it difficult to change, and the change must happen, but it could be a forceful change.
Dotun, do you have doubts about the integrity of this military that, you know, Zimbabweans rejoiced that they intervened, but now it looks like they're recapitulating, going by what we're seeing.
Yes, the man, I mean, the president is a very powerful man, like you said. But in my head, I was thinking that should it be because the man sacked his vice president in the first place?
That
all these things are happening. It's really a sad reality that these are happening, all these are happening because the man actually sacked. It shows that it's still a fight within a family. Do you get me? Because the essence of democracy, either we like it or not, it's like what we have, this BRT lane that we have. It's supposed to make your journey faster. Democracy was coined, quote unquote, to actually make the journey of development faster. But you also notice that in the BRT lane, you hardly see exit point. It shows that if a vehicle breaks down, it's going to be exceedingly difficult for the ones coming at the back to actually move fast. In other words, in democracy,
it becomes counterproductive?
Yes, once you have a broken down kind of leader, development is not going to happen.
Wow.
And this is what we've had over time in Zimbabwe.
Well, the point, a lot of people will argue that, well, democracy is not just one straight-jacketed way of seeing things. Because there are peculiarities of democracy. The only challenge is when we copy the Western kind of democracy and paste it on, force it down on everyone, and we must run democracy, the 4-year kind of democracy, just the way America does it. I think that is where the challenge really is.
Democracy has never and will never develop an economy.
Okay.
You use democracy, the liberal democracy as practiced by the West, to sustain. Okay?
Okay.
So every developed nation, if you check history, had to go through some dictatorship, some benevolent dictatorship and all that, you know, which is good for a developing economy, you know. So the fact that what is doing Zimbabwe, the problem in Zimbabwe is that the West wants Zimbabwe to practice their own brand of democracy. And
that becomes a real problem.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, they
all right, of course, we'll be talking more a lot about, you know, about this.
Let's move to the next. Let's move to the next paper now. The Nation newspaper, BVN. Government accuses CBN banks of shielding rogues, and Attorney General replies to banks' objection. Now, this issue has been on for quite some time, where they're saying that BVN, anyone without BVN shouldn't have access to his account anymore. But there seem to be some kind of racket within the banks.
Well, you know, when you deal with people that have really made money in a certain way, they must also find another way of circumventing so to preserve their wealth. You know, and that is exactly what is happening. You know.
And it takes the collusion of
yes,
the banks themselves.
Yes, because the banks need that money. The banks need that money.
That's the bottom line.
Yes. So they must do everything to protect that money.
Mike,
yes.
thank you, sir. If you take all the illegal monies, quote unquote, out of the bank, then I doubt whether we have any one of them that will be able to meet up with even their 25 billion naira capitalization.
That's true.
Are you, in other words, saying
understand
that corruption is what is sustaining the Nigerian
banks
banking
are
system?
unhealthy without corruption. Banks are unhealthy without corruption. That's just the truth.
Because we
questionable funds.
There are reports. There are reports that there are billions of cash in banks without BVN, without people who say they are not traceable to anyone. The monies are just there. But there's no way the banks don't know who actually owns this money.
That's right. That's
it's just the tag on it as who owns this money that others may not see. But everyone who brings money in, the bank knows.
I think CBN should be more strategic in their approach, you know, concerning this. Now, if you check the statistics, the number of people that have banking relationship is less than those that don't have.
True.
You know, if you check out the high-powered money, you know, which determines the money in circulation that will be put in circulation and all that, you know, you find that, you know, a greater percentage, I don't know if it may be 60-40 ratio, 60 out of the banking sector and 40 within the banking sector.
It's far more than that.
Yeah, because
the
CBN,
population.
they said that less than 10% of Nigerians have actually banking relationship.
Yes.
What the CBN should do is to encourage people, you know, to really have a banking relationship
and a banking culture.
But with these orders about, you know, BVN, if you don't have BVN attached to your account, the federal government should, you know, take over the monies. These such things, some analysts say, is even enough to discourage people who want to, you know,
so they should find another way. You know, the thing is, you want to fight corruption and all that. You want to do one or two things. But again, in fighting corruption, not other things should not stand still.
Exactly, exactly.
So,
all right, we have this last one from the Nation. Southwest cannot win PDP chairmanship with multiple aspirants, says Governor Fayose. Now, we know that there have been, with the zoning of the chairmanship to the south, there's a lot of, you know, rambling here and there and all of that.
They're even saying southwest and south-south.
Southwest, south-south, and south, we've seen others from the southeast who are also interested.
Yeah.
But in all of this, must there be a consensus candidate? That's what some analysts have been asking.
Well, you know, in Nigeria, we have come to live with that kind of arrangement.
Okay.
If it works for us, that means we are developing our own brand of democracy.
Homegrown.
Homegrown, if it works, okay? So, if it may not work that way in other climes, but if it works and it's acceptable that means we're beginning to have a homegrown democracy.
Well, as far as the PDP is concerned, that might not be the case this time around in choosing the chairman. They're saying, look, let it just be thrown open, let the best man emerge. Dotun, is that the way forward for the PDP?
I think it's going to help them a great deal if you allow everybody who is interested to participate in the entire process. At the end of the day, you will be able to breed more friendship within the party. But if you think that you are going to just have some meetings and pick some set of people without carrying everybody,
there will always be aggrieved members.
There will always be.
Exactly.
But that, at least that will minimize it. And
but the chairman is saying there's no need to micro-zone. You've zoned it to the south, so let everyone from the south.
But
but some people feel some level of entitlement to say, okay, it should come to us this time around. And
they are just political calculations. If you look at it really, because the vice president is from this part of the nation, you understand, you may be thinking that because PDP, though they've not come out to say it openly, but from their body language, you can tell that they prefer Southeast vice presidency as it is now. So if you have a Southwestern person as the chairman, that means you will be able to rally this zone for the party. And if you have somebody from the Southeast as your VP candidate, then it's going to, it will look good for your party.
So it's all strategic. The Daily Sun is our last paper this morning. Hurricane Obiano crushes Nwonye Obaze, 36 others to win Anambra governorship election. Okay, that's no longer news, but well, some people might just be waking up to this.
Well, but again, if you check the over 2 million registered voters.
And then you have just 400,000.
400,000 casting votes. What happened?
What happened? That's the real question.
Very important question. The sit at home,
Did it have its way?
Yeah, it did have it, whether we like it or not. Because Anambra is a strong IPOB area, and sympathetic to
But how much different really is this outcome from past results? It's always really around that figure. So can we really say that
when you look at
works?
since 1999 governorship election in Anambra State, you discover that only below 50% of voters actually come out. But in 2007, it actually went down further. And this is the least figure. We have just about 21.something% of people come out to vote. That's about 22% actually came out for accreditation in the morning, but many of them did not return to
Do you think this is likely to improve or increase APGA's confidence? That now that we have won or retained Anambra, let's begin to look beyond Anambra to other Southeast states, and who knows, maybe the rest of Nigeria.
It depends on how they manage the success.
Okay.
Yeah, they can go back and say, well, become complacent and all that. But this is the time, opportunity, a great opportunity they have, APGA has, to really rally the whole Southeast place and then begin to add other states to this. It's a great opportunity. It depends on how they manage this success.
Okay, this whistleblower thing is not about to go away anytime soon. Ikoyi recovery, don't pay yet. Whistleblowers beg Adeosun. Of course, this is against the background of the recent events with the whistleblower, the Ikoyi Gate whistleblower, who was supposed to be paid some $800 million. What an amount. Naira, sorry. Naira. And we've been told, no, this gentleman...
We don't want him to go
mad. We don't want him to go totally bonkers with this kind of... Who will not even go crazy really with this kind of money? Dotun, would you? I want you to...
During the period of Abacha, there was this rumor in town that there was a traditional ruler that was invited to Abuja. And in the process, they checked him into an hotel. And when he opened this thing, he made money there, just collapsed and died. So there's a need for us to actually guard our heart and guide our heart.
Too much money.
I had a similar experience in
You
the US.
collapsed?
No. You witnessed? No, I witnessed it.
Recraft it so that we don't come after.
It was back in 1984-85 in the US and all that. A couple, 67, 65, won lottery of $11 million. And they had never seen that kind of money in their lives. They went to sleep and didn't wake up.
Both of them?
Yes. So what the US government did subsequently, if you win any lottery, they bring a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a fund manager, an investment advisor, and all manner of people. And they will ask you, you know, if you win $1 million, what will you do with it? You know, you win 2 million, gradually. Yeah. And on one occasion, the man that won some millions, I told them that, look, the man that will bring the news to him, he will give the man 2 million. The man that actually brought the news collapsed.
But you know, in spite of that, I saw a documentary not too long ago about, you know, lottery winners in the United States, and more than 70% of them go back to poverty, no matter how much.
Exactly.
I think it's not just in the U.S. I think it's around the globe, because I have actually read stats about some of these things. The capacity to manage money is not grown with the money. You grow it before you get the money. So once you do not have the capacity to manage money and you have the money, then you are just going to slide back into poverty. So
just spend, it becomes a temporary thing where you spend and go back to your
Is that why life. In the 70s, the problem for Nigeria was not the money but how to spend it?
And now are we back? We're back. Yeah, don't forget that in the 50s, the first Nigerian to win lottery in London died a poor man in Bariga.
Wow.
He died on the street. The first Nigerian in the 50s to win lottery in the UK.
It's very instructive for every Nigerian who wants to make money. You know, we all say "Mufelo Judadi Mio." You know, that kind of thing.
What does that mean?
I want to be rich like my father. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's a legitimate desire. But you have to think, what do I really want to do with the money? All
right, we have to leave you here right now, but we have to keep you, Dr. Nweze and Dotun, for the next analysis. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast, and we are looking at the Anambra election, the fallout, and all of the issues that went down in our next discussion. Now, stay with us.
All right, welcome back. The Anambra governorship election has come and gone, and a winner has emerged. Well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be talking about it right now, and joining us, we still have the lecturer from the Pan-Atlantic University, Dr. Austin Nweze, with us in the studio, as well as communication strategist, Dr. Ojon. Now, the case where, when we're listening to the electoral officers yesterday presenting their results from the various local governments, some units were cancelled because there was the case of overvoting. Now, it is one of the grounds where the PDP candidate is saying, I will not accept this result, because you go to the polling unit, you accredit, and you vote immediately, and you leave. So how do you have a case of overvoting in that kind of circumstance, when everyone who has a card, your name is in the register, and then you register, you accredit, and you vote, and you leave? How complicated is this issue here?
Well, it's a simple thing. Based on my own experience, I've been there, you know, 2 times, you know, contested elections. But again, you discover that when you accredit people, and then less than that number votes, like in one of the wards of 300 and something voters, you know, who the number that's supposed to vote.
Yes.
And only about 18.
18, yeah.
Now, what happens? They collect the rest and then vote on their behalf. And that makes up the difference, you know? So it's not a complicated thing, you know? It's something that happens in the elections all over the place. And that's a new way. The days of carrying ballot boxes are over. Now it's a more sophisticated way. You know, sometimes they allow you, you know, vote the ward, they count it, they'll take it to the local government headquarters and all that. The final place is the State Collation Center.
Yes.
That is where they write all this thing. You know, then they begin to
distribute?
Distribute. Okay, this guy, let's give him this. This one, let's give him this, and all that.
So those days have come to an end and it's a good thing. It's looking good, not only for Anambra.
Not carrying ballot boxes,
yes.
but the more sophisticated way of doing this.
Of manipulating.
Manipulating is on.
Wow.
Okay, so Dr. John, was this a vote for Abga, Willie Obiano, or was it the people deciding really what they wanted? Continuity as against change?
Okay, I'm really very glad about the result because everyone that participated in the election actually has one or two things to benefit from the election, and I'm really very glad about it. And this is what I mean. Now, it's just like a case of the devil we know is better than the angels we do not know. It's not as if, when you look at their presentation, when you look at their manifesto, it's not as
all right,
if
Doctor, let me put you on hold. We're hearing that there's a piece of news just coming in. We're getting reports that former Vice President of Nigeria, Dr. Alex Ekwueme, has passed on. And we're certainly following up that. According to a statement released by his brother, Lars Ekwueme, he passed away around 10 p.m. on Sunday at a London clinic.
Yes, indeed. Alex Ekwueme only celebrated his 85th birthday not too long ago until, of course, Nigerians heard that he took ill. There was the issue of him being flown abroad which eventually did happen. But a sad day for Nigeria and Nigerians. The former Vice President has passed on, Alex Ekwueme.
Right. We'll certainly get you details of that. Dr. Alex Ekwueme was one respectable Nigerian that we have seen be Vice President from the Second Republic.
You know, it's quite sad because Nigeria, I wish it could live forever, you know, but again, you live your own time and you go back and all that. But
do you think he died a happy man?
Well, I'm not sure he died a happy man because he would have, you know, seen a changed Nigeria. He must have. Don't forget that this man designed the National Theatre. You know, that this man is a lawyer.
Not many Nigerians know that.
Oh yeah, he designed the National Theatre.
Wow.
You know, he was a lawyer. He had over 15 degrees, according to I lost count.
And one of the founding fathers of the PDP.
Yes,
the G34.
Exactly.
Remember?
You know, so he contributed a lot to the development of this nation, and committed his life and resources to building a nation. But unfortunately, he didn't die a happy man.
But we even hear the government has not really treated him well. Since 2015, there were reports that his entitlements have not been paid. Which
is unfortunate, you know, because, you know, even taking him to London for what? I mean, it was just being politically correct. You know, I was disappointed that he was flown and all that. You know, this man, one age and all that. Why don't we at least stop this, you know, trend of sending our leaders to the foreign land and all that? If you need a specialist, you can fly that person in.
That's not to say that Nigeria does not even have enough specialists, but unfortunately, the ills bedeviling Nigeria's health sector, this even further underscores that. And you just talked about, you know, the ill treatment meted out to the late former Vice President Alex Ekwueme. Would you say it started, you know, when that coup happened that actually overthrew him? Of course, the Shagari government, he was Vice President under Shagari's administration. He was locked up.
Yes. But Shagari was under house arrest. How can a man be happy like that? You know? How can justice was not done to him? He couldn't have died a happy man. You know, and they did not do anything to make it up for him. You know.
Now, Doctor, on the other hand, the Anambra state government, when you have the figure of the president or the vice president coming from your state, doesn't or shouldn't the state government at least have some level of responsibility to say, okay, if I will take care of this, even if the federal government is not handling the statutory obligation of taking care of it?
Except if the person involved actually approaches the government and says, oh, this is what I'm going through at this moment. If not, I'm not sure it's going to be right.
Would you expect
I am not sure that it's going to be right for the state government to take over responsibility, because we are in Nigeria where we may not be able to totally trust many people. As we speak now, there are people in government who draw their salary from government government and still receive pension. So except if in an occasion where it is obvious that the federal government is not actually doing what it's supposed to do, then the state government. But again, you know that we are an extremely political people that want to read political undertone to everything, every issue. So if the man does not belong to your political party, for example, I doubt whether you have the political will to help. It doesn't matter whether he was a former vice president or not. That's just the sad reality. But again,
even on the moral ground.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But when you're talking about politics in Nigeria, morality is just at the backdrop.
But it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Because the moment you become the president or the vice president, there's a level in life you have gotten to. There's a realm you've gotten to that it surpasses the concept of political this or that.
It's not only, it happened to Zeke.
You see?
Up till now, even when Zeke was alive, it was only when he died that people remember that he was from Anambra State. Even to sustain his legacy.
There was a rush to tar the roads that led to the house.
Exactly.
Who knows, maybe that would be the case.
The statue they built, I don't know, maybe it's facing down, or I don't know what happened to it now. So this is terrible for a state government not to appreciate the former leaders. And then, what you do also has a way of coming back to you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, time is really against us, but in all of this, let me ask just maybe one question before we leave. We've seen the PDP candidate in Anambra State for the Saturday election saying he rejected the vote. Are we seeing some court cases here?
Of course, there will be some legal fireworks. Okay. And then it will also impact negatively because the man will not settle down to provide governance. So he's going to act. What I would suggest to him is to reach out to these people. Oil the will. Let them come. Run an inclusive.
It shouldn't be a winner takes all.
No, it shouldn't be zero-sum politics. Yeah. It should be a positive politics.
Okay.
Where they include other people from different. So that way he can be assured of at least pay off their money, campaign monies and all that.
Isn't that where corruption starts?
Where is he going to get the money?
They say when a man sets out on a journey, he counts the cost.
Yeah.
So they should have counted the cost, both
before going in.
Exactly. Not expect
they should talk to them.
Okay.
Well,
and we'll have to leave it there.
We have to leave it here now.
Really, unfortunately, time would not permit us to go on further with this. TVC Breakfast discussions continue. Stay with us.